baggage those games come with, and there's enough of that where I'm like, I'm good. Yes, I know you like Ballad. You know, this is sort of like Steam recommendations at this point. Henny Inc., where it's like, because you played Dwarf Fortress, you might be interested in Mall Simulator. What? Excuse me? Some first-person, like, nonsense bullshit put out by Playway SA? I'm hard pass, thanks. Thanks for the recommendations, Steam! Because all that stuff's just based on user tags, so it's, like, more or less nonsense. No, I mean, no, like, shame on Slay the Spire. I just think that's really funny. You wanted to like Death Stranding, but you just couldn't do it. Yeah, fair. How's the fort going? Pretty good. Devoted one in YouTube chat. No, that is very true, Moreb. It's like trying to categorize music. Categorizing games is very difficult. I completely agree with that statement. I'm trying to give these dwarves a little bit of a break because I've been working them pretty hard, and they've been through a lot recently. So I'm just kind of... Actually, hold on. I am going to go here and go kitchen and just go seeds. I'm just letting them cook all seeds. Well, actually, not hemp seeds. No, that's almonds, not hemp seeds. Don't cook the hemp seeds, cook the almonds. And don't cook the rope reed seeds. Don't cook the spelt seeds. I want to actually be able to grow more of those. And also, don't cook the spelt. That's like one of my sources of beer in here. Okay, they can't cook it. Good. Just wanted to double check that. Everything else can be cooked. We're in an ad break, so I'm just going to leave the game pause. You never cared about Kojima games, but you can appreciate them having used Pecora in it. I don't know what that is, but okay. Absolutely love the crossbow update. Dan and Merkel in YouTube chat says. No, I agree. Yeah, I think it's very good. Well, I mean, the dwarves got a big buff to crossbows, which is fine. And so did the enemies, right? Like, the enemies kite way more effectively when they have ranged weapons now. Because they do the same thing. I mean, it's still the same situation where, like, dwarves are almost always going to be stronger because, like, enemies that attack are mostly just novices when they attack. So the dwarves are just going to outskill them anyway. But there are, like... ranged enemies are a bigger threat now, and I'm really happy about that. I think that's a very good change. You had some dwarves today stuck trying to train cave dragons. They just stood in the corner in a zone forever until you unmarked the training. They wouldn't even move despite deleting the zone. Anyone else experience similar behavior? Weird. I would report that. That seems like a bug. I have not seen that, no. Oh, it's a Japanese VTuber. Ah, wait. So there's like that meme of like Kojima like scanning celebrities and putting them into his vault so he can do whatever he wants with them. Is he just like taking VTuber models now and adding? That's fucking funny. That's really funny. It's like, well, I mean, they're already scanned, so you know. That's really funny. I do like the Kojima like stealing the skin of people memes and like. He's maybe the most, like... What is the term for somebody who seeks to be friends with rich, famous people? There is a term for that. Star chaser? Starfucker? Maybe starfucker. He's a bit of a starfucker. But yeah, that sounds like a bug. I've absolutely trained dragons and cave dragons before without issue, so... Bootlicker, sure. Networker, I mean, that's being charitable, like. I'm trying to think of, like, net negative variant of this. Because I do know Starfucker is one of the words for that, but it's certainly not the nicest one. There's this story that I've heard many times about Kojima, from a particular podcast that I listen to, and maybe some of you listen to the same podcast, where one of the hosts has only seen Kojima once at an event, and it was at E3, and he came stumbling out of an outhouse holding a beer. And honestly, checks out. Putnam stares at it like that's the only thing she does in life, so Putnam will see it. Right, wow? Right, wow, indeed. Just like Owen Wilson, right? Wow. So I kind of fucked up. I've got far too much. Food stockpile. Oh, those are farmers' workshops. I need kitchens. I was like out of a lot of food related things, and now I've kind of screwed up and have way too much. I'm gonna make 80 and 20 wooden barrels. I'm pretty good, Orc. Yourself, dude? I mean, 70% of his body is made of movies. Late today, so. Although I've learned about the existence of some movies because of Kojima, and sometimes they're terrible, and sometimes they've been good, so I can't say that I dislike his incessant obsession of like 80s action cinema, because I've learned of the existence of some movies that I've enjoyed because of it. Like The Hidden is one, which is a movie I never would have seen nor heard of if Kojima hadn't posted about it all over social media one day. I was like, that looks interesting, and then I rented it for $2 on YouTube, and it was great. I mean, I don't know if I recommend it, but I had fun. That's a movie I've heard of but have not seen. I will say that I watched all of Severance, and I won't spoil the end of Severance, but I will say that I threw my remote across the room and said, fuck this shit, when the season ended, so when the second season ended. Yeah. Lives up to the expectation? Cheers. Good to know. Do I have some kind of gossip with merchants or neighbors? Not a lot of gossip. This world's pretty dead because it's super old. We're kind of in this borderline apocalyptic area that's full of these old monasteries that are full of books and random humans and dead castles and things. So a lot of the factions are dead. It's a lot of semi-functional like migrant groups. So not a ton of drama. A lot of history, not a ton of drama. Although maybe I should go out and like some books, which I haven't done for a while because I've been pretty busy with unrelated tasks. But it's been fun. Honestly, the only real issue I have with Kojima is that him and his fans get too much credit for, like, it's not that they didn't do the work, but he gets too much credit for making the whole game himself. And that's not really the case, you know? It's like, oh, it's a Kojima game. It's like, yeah, look at the credits. there's like 15 pages of credits. At least 25 minutes of credits. That's kind of the only issue I have with Kojima, but... No, absolutely not. I actually genuinely wonder how much of what exactly his involvement is in the Death Stranding games. I would like to know, but, you know, there's also a lot of language barrier there. Well, okay, I'm not hating him for that, enemy. I'm just simply stating, I wonder how much involvement he has. It's not hard to have more involvement than that. Anyway. Ideally, he would have less. Probably be better for his companies. Now that I'm done with the Elon jump scare. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. Oh, just someone in YouTube chat said Metal Gear Solid 5 had great gameplay, but a terrible story. And I was just thinking to myself, like, has this game's ever had a good story? They've always had good gameplay, but... Can I add a golden camel statue to that hallway? Do I have gold? Probably have gold. Oh yeah, no, I've got like 1,000 gold bars right now, sure. Let's do a giant one-humped camel. The hump humility of animals is the name of it. Done. You know, I've played a PSP once for about 90 seconds. I played a little bit of I think it was a Need for Speed game. Also, I think I have a thing ticked that I was showing off earlier. That's my problem. Mix similar food in barrels, please. I'm gonna suddenly have so many store food and barrel jobs. Got too many food types to have that checked. Was that the one that was on it? It was a racing game. And then I watched a bit of that same friend play a top-down Killzone, I think? I was never a PlayStation person. I had a few friends who had PlayStation games and PlayStations, but I was never a PlayStation person, so I never really had much access or exposure to those games. Have a refuse stockpile set up. There really isn't a quick way. Just don't overproduce food so that you run into the problem generally, is the word of advice. What's the other thing I was gonna do? I can't remember. Oh, I remember now. Kitchen. Quit cooking my drinks. I've got a lot of different drinks. We've got persimmon wine, bayberry wine, dwarven rum, apricot wine, cherry wine, potato wine, spelt beer. I love spelt beer, by the way. It has a really weird earthy flavor to it. Plum wine, river spirits, parsnip wine, bilberry wine, and cranberry wine. Place a dragon inside with a puppy in front of it. Don't forget about the puppy. Puppy, very important. Yeah, I would say that Kojima Studios, or the studios he's worked with, are definitely high up there in the best sandbox games, at least on the console side, ever. Like sandbox combat games and stealth action games. Like, he's definitely run studios that have produced a lot of very good games over the years. But I do actually wonder, like, in the current year, how much time he puts into individual things. An exceptional prepared grizzly bear liver roast. Ingredients are peahen egg, grizzly bear lung, exceptionally minced prepared grizzly bear intestines, and grizzly bear liver. And he has like 20 children. Are they all with him? Cheesy Feline in the YouTube chat just got a migrant necromancer who has 20 children. Because if they're all like young kids, that's kind of wild. If they're not, I mean, necromancers are perfectly normal dwarves that just have weird hobbies and habits and desires and needs. So they're just like me for real. They are immortal, yes. Gives them a lot of time to make babies. Aren't they sterile? Like, I'm pretty... Because they're technically undead. I've never seen a necromancer make a baby. So, like, if it's a necromancer with a bunch of children and they're all babies with them, or young kids with them, then that would mean that he's a very recently necromancied necromancer. Necromancied necromancer. That's a sentence. If you have DF hack installed, YouTube chat, when you get the like infinite repeating feedback loop, just exterminate the thing they keep resurrecting. And that immediately fixes the problem. Just, you know, a pro tip. Or just like get up and walk away and come back 30 minutes later. Also, chat, somebody says that I look 85. In my YouTube comments. I just refreshed my YouTube comments because I was kind of curious and skimming them while the game was saving. And somebody says I look 85. Help my ego out here. I don't look 85, right? I'll take 40. Like, if you want to add a third onto my age, or a quarter onto my age, I'll take that. But Easy 73, thanks, man. Appreciate you. I'm basically like stepping in front of the shotgun blast of Nerf darts saying that though. This is an excuse to hear the ways people butcher your name. Hanyank? Can I ask what part of the world the grammar is from? What kind of dwarf would you like, friend? Any old bozo? Do you have beard preference or just any old bozo? 80 fucking 5. Yeah. I look 18. Oh, thank you. That's actually a very nice thing of you to say, but also very blissfully unaware of the fact that I don't think I've been ID'd in the last 10 years, with the exception of like the era where I was fully masked up and wearing like a toque. Like if I had a hat on, like during pandemic, and like had a mask on, people ID'd me. But that was it. I don't look a day above 90. I can't deny that that's true, so. I don't look like I'm above 90. This is true. I don't disagree with that, Quicksilver, but I'm also 31. And there's not a small number of people with gray hair who are 31, so.
This is madness.
Oh shit, what up? How thing, hobo? What do we do?
Yeet.
Happy Canada Set Off Fireworks Day. I guess in a few days it's America Set Off Fireworks Day. Thing good? Good to hear. You've always assumed I'm 30? I mean, I was 30 up until June. Now I'm 31. So you've assumed accurately. I don't actually care when people say that I look old. It's just funny to me more than anything. The funniest comment about me kind of looking old, looking for somebody with a good beard. This is a good beard. Was when somebody said, it was a comment on, I think, the Gremlin video, which was, this guy talks like a Zoomer and looks like he's Gen X, and it's great. I'm just like, God damn it. That's the most, like, thing you could say about a millennial. Like, it's like, you look like you're Gen X, but you talk like a Zoomer. It's like, like, because that genuinely is funny, right? Because that is, like, forgetting millennials exist is, like, the most thing you could do about millennials. Like, genuinely, I posted that one on, like, Blue Sky, I think, and someone was just like, oh, don't let it get you down. I'm like, it's not. I'm laughing hysterically. I can't stop crying. Anyway, he occasionally, this is, name I'm butchering, Hanyak. Hanyake? I don't know. Hanyek. 32 and gray hair is incoming. I mean, you know, just give me one more year, I'll get there. He occasionally overindulges and is not inherently proud of his talents and accomplishments, and he finds helping others to be emotionally rewarding, and he has an active sense of humor, and he can handle stress. Likes to keep things practical without delving too deeply into abstract concept. He tends to hold on to grievances, and he has a sense of duty. He is not particularly interested in what others think of him, and he holds his breath when he's nervous. He needs alcohol to get through the working day, and dreams of, I was going to say dreams of crafting a great work of art, and is getting used to tragedy. He personally does not care about fairness and doesn't particularly value loyalty. He likes granite, black bronze, and brown jasper, jute fabric and the color bronze, gems and quivers and the words of the Northway, the sound of the velvety incenses and what possible prefers to consume, date wine, mung beans, and prefers to consume hagfish. So chat, true story. Yesterday I went grocery shopping. Crazy, I know, right? Not something adults do. But I did that yesterday, and I bought green beans, I bought dried black beans, and I bought mung bean sprouts because they were on sale. So like microgreens, just because they're tasty and it's an easy way to add some protein to a meal. And I like them in stir fries. And I bought 2 frozen burritos and mushrooms. Because it was like a I need produce kind of day, and I also needed beans because I ran out. And guy working the cash register is like, you really like beans, huh? I'm like, should I go get something that isn't beans? Literally just bought like all of the beans. It's just what I ended up buying. But anyway, this dwarf hates purring maggots. Likes to consume hagfish. Has no friends, probably because of the hagfish. When did you get here, though? Okay, well, you only arrived this past summer, so you haven't had much time to settle in, but you really feel blissful about your bedroom. You discussed an acquaintance's problems. You received water, probably, but that doesn't seem right. Dined in a legendary dining room. You loved that. You learned about weaponsmithing, which is good. You were uneasy after seeing a goblin's dead body. That's understandable. And you performed the rites of the Copper Coven at a dedicated temple. You know, Poop McFeces, your name checks out. But trust me, that ain't me. I don't really get that problem from beans. I also don't get like the, oh no, I got a crap after drinking coffee problem that a lot of people seem to get. Should I put bedrooms up here or would that be mean because I have to walk through the bee farm? I feel like that would be mean. And then here I could do that to there. You. Two more bedrooms. One additional bedroom. Lately, your husband really wants something you get from Gyu Kaku, which is like a spicy bean sprout namul. I don't know what a namul is, but I like spicy and I like bean sprouts, so. A bunch of my squads have returned from going out and stealing books. A baked bean sandwich? I grew up I had points while growing up where my parents were completely fucking broke. So yes, we ate a lot of baked beans. On bread, on eggs, with anything. Just in whatever food format because they were very cheap. Seems like the Explorings is going good. Bit of a slow day in some ways, but we have squeaked past the daily minimum by $6, so. Thanks, chat. On eggs? Sure, why not? Why not? Fills you up. Although I think there was about 6 years of my life where I ate nothing but pasta with the cheapest possible pasta sauce and lentils. It's like baked lentil casserole and that was pretty much it. For a very long time. It was grim times. Haven't had beans in a while. I had beans last night. I don't know. I like beans in the right context. If made well and flavored well, they're very good.
Jeebus 50 months.
That is a lot of months. Yes, indeed, 50 months. Thank you for the 50 months, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for sticking with me for so long. Thanks for continuing to watch the stream and support. I greatly appreciate you. I wouldn't have this job if it wasn't for people like you, so thank you. Kobolds are here to do nothing of value and steal nothing of value. There was one time I tried to make like a kobold altar. I like put stuff on a pedestal specifically where they could easily steal it, and they somehow never managed to, so I have since given up. I like mochi. How do I feel about sweet bean desserts? You asking me? I've had ones that I've liked. It's about the same as anything else, right? Like, you know, you make a thing and you make it well, I'll probably like it. I'm not a picky eater in the slightest, and I'll try anything once, within logical human reason. I probably wouldn't eat a horse for the same reason I probably wouldn't eat a whale. But when it comes to like combinations of foods that I'll eat, ethically, is I guess my asterisk. Yeah, I mean, certainly, I've had sweet bean buns that are delicious. I've had bean mochis. I've had like bean paste bubble tea, which was good. Why didn't you just say Denny's? Not a human. And Bruno, hello. Longest fan is the prophecy foretold. I would say that's probably Speedy. Or when it comes to like financial support, it's probably Speedy. Because Speedy has been at the highest tier of everything I offered, capping out at $25 as long as I've had it. So he's at the $25 tier on my Patreon, he's at the $25 tier on my blog, and he's at the $25 tier on Twitch. And he's at the highest tier, which I can't remember what the dollar amount actually is, YouTube member. And he's been doing that now for 93 months. And I think tunes into my stream once every 6 months to say hi and resub and then leaves. I don't actually think he watches any of my stuff, but he's a very kind person. And I ran into him randomly at PAX the other year and he was like, oh, hi! Easily not a human. Although the weirdest one was there's a guy who had the username Laser104. And Laser was one of the first people to tip me when I got I set up a PayPal so people could tip me. And he tipped me $100. I will never forget that day. Like, blew my fucking mind. This would have been like, what, 2014 or something? Or in an ad break, so I'll leave the game paused, although it just seized up. And I ran into him at PAX this past year. He's just like, yo, I used to watch you years ago. I was like, yo, what's your username? And he's like, tells me his username. I'm like, yeah, you're still on my Steam friends list, man. Yeah, no, I'm still at it. Still doing the thing. Their sub ran out, boo. No, boo that the sub ran out. Hopefully it'll come back either in the form of gift or in the form of future. It happens. Now c'est la vie. I don't care if people subscribe or not. It's just, it makes me sad when people tune out because they're not subscribed. That is like a weird self-inflicted peer pressure I wish didn't exist in Twitch culture, but it does. Are you doing vampire stuffs? That only works if they're admins that don't need to. So YouTube chat is talking about using office vampires as office workers, like bookkeepers and such. Do keep in mind that only works until they need to talk to a diplomat who is not a member of the fortress. So if they need to speak with a diplomat who's not a member of the fortress, that can go bad very quickly because then the diplomats will always leave unhappy because they're separated. So as long as they have the ability to do those meetings with diplomats, you can do that. Otherwise, just do keep that in mind. That may cause you problems. That's it really. But yeah, you can do that. You could, but That doesn't always work. It causes pathing problems. Also, if one of them goes into a strange mood and needs an item that's not inside of their little complex, your frame rate will go to 0 with no explanation. So there's also that. So as long as you have like a way to like siphon them in and out as needed when needed, yeah, go nuts. I mean, I've got 2 vampires in this fort and they live at the top of this tower. And they're very sad and hate their lives. So actually, I should probably just lock this. Just lock this, like delete this, and then just like give them a little temple to go worship. Actually, maybe don't remove that. Maybe just expand it. Should really finish this tower. Make a donut temple? I mean, they don't need it to be that big. Just gonna make my life easier. But funny shape. I was gonna do 1/2 temple and then the other half tavern. Is what I was gonna do. Game's hitching again. So I was thinking about making this half a temple and then this half a tavern. Tavern, air quotes. But here I can do it like this. Temple. Tavern. Well, I mean, it's not a dry tavern because there's no roof. So it's very much an open to the elements tavern. It's like an open patio design. They should get married. Well, they both have... do you want me to gaydar them and tell you whether or not that's true, or do you want to just let the fan fictions go hog wild? Because I could gaydar them and tell you. So killed with style is straight, sorry. So is AAA. So they can just become best friends. Well, they're already kindred spirits, actually, so... well, one of the... Friend and kindred spirits. Unfortunately, can't help you there. How many books do we have here? 179. I think the other thing I should do is down here, I'll make them a library extension. I'm also going to go over to this. I read that in the sound of the Real Big Fish song. Not human. Just so that you're aware. I mean, vampire bromance is better than vampire biomass, so, which is what they'd become if I put them underneath a drawbridge and closed it. Or threw them off said tower. Better love story than Twilight. I mean, they're best friends, okay? You know, they just sit there and talk about sports, you know, like the local Mountain Homes axe throwing competitions from... Remember the one where Urist got a perfect 10? Where am I going with this? I did have a thing that I was going to go do, but now okay, I was going to go remove the traction bench constructions. Which is... down here somewhere. There it is. Gonna get rid of the cloth image jobs. Gonna slowly start unforbidding some of these jobs. You know, I just realized now that we can select body parts, they could repurpose that to make like axe throwing an actual thing. Like have targets that you could throw at and select different parts. They should do that. They should make targets throw-atable. Or shoot-atable, I guess, in adventure mode. The game's seized up. So now I'm waiting for the game to unseize. There we go. But the good news is, moods are a lot better than they were. The frame rate's a lot worse than it was. You're able to vaporize enemies with literally whatever you throw at them if you throw it hard enough. You just have to throw it hard enough. That's the key. Oh, speaking of Twilight, well, technically Twilight fan fiction. I was... there's a little mini library close to me. For those of you who are unfamiliar with what those are, it's basically just like a tiny little box outside that people leave books in. And it's just like a little community thing. Now, that little box usually has one or two books in it, right? Randomly, there was like, out of nowhere, maybe 30 copies of 50 Shades of Grey. And then the next day, they were all gone. I think that somebody, like, curates it and takes care of it and probably, like, grabbed them all. I was like, what the fuck? The hell is this shit? Which one of you did this? That's my theory. But it's still kind of funny. I didn't count them. It was just a stack. And then, like, 3 of the shelves were all just full. It's basically just like a little cabinet in, like, near the sidewalk outside. Yeah, it's probably somebody's hobby that does it, but I thought that was really funny. I was like, which one of you did this and who took it away? All right. An anti-scalper? I don't think those books are worth anything in the current year. I guess hence the anti-scalper. Also, like, looking at this going like, okay, so, like, what... Cloth hood. I almost never do this, but I'm actually restricting tasks now. All right, so now that I've done that, I'm gonna go into here. I'm gonna take a peek. Still have a lot of dump items. So let's let these all go away. They were never worth much? No. I mean, like... 50 Shades of Grey is rewritten Twilight fanfiction. So... It was a zeitgeist moment. Simpler times back then, I tell you. Getting rid of a lot of stuff that I don't need. Just a lot of crappy clothing. Where's metal objects? Melt a metal object. Let's set... Nope. Let's set that to 10. That's the number that was wrong. What, for the fan fiction? Oh, it wouldn't surprise me too much. I shouldn't put skin in here. Actually, it's rawhide. Fresh rawhide and tanned hides. Don't put those in there. Those should get used. Although they might still get thrown out, but that's fine. Yeah, that one got thrown out. But fresh rawhide should be used properly. The vampires are fighting. Oh, they're getting... One of them's getting beaten up for tantruming again. Typical. Support is pretty chill at the moment, but I am also trying to balance it. We've done a very good job of, like, recovering moods today, though. So, credits to that, where credits due. I think, though, it's time for me to go back underground and go back to digging. Make this frame rate worse again. It's time to shitify some frames. Let's go dig some channels. No. No, they do not. Aren't they locked in their room? Yes and no. They are locked up there. Other people can get up there. Basically waiting until I go into this and most of the dwarves are either reading, listening to poetry like chunks and nothing more. An example of the dominant persuasions. Chunks and nothing more. Vomit. That really seems like poetry about vomit if you ask me. If anyone's made mods to ethically collect blood, not that I'm aware of. Maybe. I've never really looked, though. I do know that for a while it was like... For a period of time, there was people saying that, like, they wish that there was a way for vampires to drink blood without killing the thing that they're drinking from. Chunks and nothing more. Yeah, it's about Minecraft's world, Jen. It's a pretty interesting textbook manual. There should be a way to go from here to here, right? Kind of doesn't look like it. I need a way from here to the layer above, so I may actually construct that. Something like this, basically. That or I just keep digging over here. That's fine. I think maybe just go like right here. Because I want to widen this right here. Actually, the problem is right here. This staircase. I want to get rid of this staircase, basically. Or I want this to stop being the access point from here. So instead what I'll do, we go from here the other way. We'll figure out what to do with this later. Vampirism in Dwarf Fortress doesn't spread from bites. Vampirism in Dwarf Fortress spreads from curses. I mean, it can spread in other ways, but that is the way it spreads in game. Is it? They don't bite to spread it; they bite to kill. Forgotten Beast, Simogithu Radir has come, a gigantic ankylosaurid with lidless eyes. It has a nubby shell and it undulates rhythmically. Its eyes glow spring green. Its lavender blush scales are round and close. Okay, I'm kind of sad I don't know the colors because this sounds really pretty. Beware its poison sting. Is this one going to be a threat? We'll find out. No, it's somewhere where it can't get to me. Because I don't think this one can fly. Although... I should... reclaim this cavern. Okay, beasts. What beasts are on the map right now? So you're right there, basically. I'm going to reclaim this cavern, chat. I'm suddenly feeling confident. Wish me luck. I'm not positive this confidence is misplaced or not. The other thing I'm going to do is assign everybody but the vampires to this zone. Wish us luck, chat. Yeah, it's an ankylosaurid without having the thing that makes it into an ankylosaurid. We are going to fight this beast. Let's go! Damn right, sir. Holy frame weight. Also because maybe reclaiming these will give me my... will make my frame rate a little better. Uh-oh. Beastie go a go-go. Beastie's gone. Well, since the beast is gone, I'm going to widen this. And I'm going to sort of fix my problem with this area. I'm going to go into here. I'm going to throw in that. Throw in that. And thwack down all of the trees. And cry that I don't have any woodcutters again. And I don't have anybody who's a good woodcutter who I can give the job to, so instead I will give it to, I don't know, maybe Hippo, you can have a new job. Go grab an axe. The thwacker. Yeah, I need a trunk thwacker. It's a very distinguished career path for dwarves. And also, where in the world did that beast go? And where is Carmen Sandiego? You don't know if you'd have to, like, do all the detaching and then rapidly dig out the last remaining area or what? For what? Caving in something? What are we talking about here? I'm not positive the context for the thing that you're suggesting. I'm going to set up a patrol down here. They're going to go from here to here to here. Not positive. Yeah, they can't actually get up there. So that's going to be the route that they're going to take. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to send a soldier, or not a soldier, a miner over here to this, to go dig through this. And I'm going to turn off this burrow. So I'm going to send a miner over to this to go mine through that, and then channel down through this. We're going to get this digging down. Do tavern keepers have a use? Yes. They give drinks to dwarves if you have goblets in the fortress, and it will and in the tavern. So they have to be both in the fortress but also in the tavern. The other thing that they do is not only do they distribute in the fortress and in the tavern, they also distribute food to things. However, there's an asterisk. The asterisk is pretty simple. They will only do that if there is goblets in a container in the tavern. The issue is they will over booze up dwarves, which is a problem, because if dwarves get overly boozed, then they can start fights. But yes, they absolutely do help. It's also the best way to train a captain of the guard, because, or anything that needs to train speech skills, because they train all of their speech skills just back to back constantly, which is super helpful. Let's see how this goes. Those are just dwarves coming through and going, oh god! Run away, dwarf! I mean, I could have left them in a burrow, but that would have been smart. I refuse to do smart things. That's no fun. Rest in peace, Syrup's Seer. Or maybe not. Now rest in peace. So we've got our first Marks dwarf who arrives and starts dodging and sniping directly at it. So is shooting bolts. Has nethercap and maple because I guess I don't have enough iron still. Got another dwarf who's helping. This dwarf is doing a pretty good job dodging. I've also got Bomb Wreck who's not doing a very good job dodging. I'm just going to tell the dwarves now to kill this thing. I've got one of my dwarves who's a wrestler with a spear. We've got the other melee dwarves arriving, and the creature is now dead, which was pretty quick and easy. With one death. I'll take that. I'd say round of beers, chat, as a good job well dwarf. It's a job well dwarf. I do need to keep an eye on the additional beasts, though. I think what I want to do is make like a little turret area in here so that we can just snipe at them. Because I think that would be fun. Maybe like have like a little entryway over here kind of deal. Basically, I want to rebuild this so that it serves its purpose in a better way. Like, I don't mind fighting beasts down here. I just want to fight them like right there. No, you can only see their weight once you see their body. I mean, there's ways to do that with DF hack, but not an official way, no. I mean, it's what? 9956 Dwarf weights? You're still doing a vampire fort after learning how to make vampires from... I've taught the next generation of Dwarf Fortressers how to vampire. I don't know how I feel about this. Also, sellout moment for a second here. On Twitch, it only costs 1 gift subscription to get number 3 on the gift subs leaderboard. Costs $5.01 in bits to get number 1 on the bits leaderboard. Unless you're one of the 3 in the top 3, and then just 1 bit will get you number 1. I'm just saying. We are a crowdfunded channel. We have hit the daily minimum, so I'm doing okay today. But if you want to help us out, you can get a shiny badge for a bit. You're number 2 already. You were number 1 until because you're one of 2 people who've gifted subs. You gifted 5, and our friend Ice Blue gifted 10. So you are number 2 because of Ice Blue. How possible would it be to drop the entire thingy? I mean, very possibly. You just have to get underneath it. Why do you want... It feels kind of like a waste. I don't know. Might do some weird exposing and crushing of things. I mean, I could probably try. Because... I mean, there'd be a lot of risks involved, but I could do it. I could do it. I'm not sure why I'd want to do it. I feel like building a fortress around it would be cooler. We're in an ad break, so I'm just leaving the game paused until the ads is done. Yeah, it's one of those, like, why? Question mark? But also, yeah, I mean, I could do it. I could, in fact, do it. Man, that video I uploaded this morning is still getting 700 views an hour. I was expecting that video to get maybe 10,000 views total, and it's like on pace with the rest of the bigger Dwarf Fort videos right now, and that's kind of blowing my mind a little bit. Holy shit, YouTube not punishing me for experimenting? What is this madness? It's like a first. I don't know if I'm happy. I'm just kind of shocked. I hope I'm happy. I think this is happy. Okay, well that is draining now, which is good. So I can get all this crap out of here sooner than later, ideally. Do I watch anime? No. I do not. I've watched anime, but I don't think that's the question. The question is, do I currently watch anime? No. I have seen an anime and a couple before. As an example, I've seen all of the original Dragon Ball and remember very little of it. I'm finding dwarves that died ages ago, and also memorializing dwarves that have been dead for ages. That got stuck in these caverns when I first locked them down. None of those words mean anything to me, but I'm sure. That doesn't really surprise me. I mean, there's an anime that's basically just Stalker, so... How do eggs work, and can you have a hatchery in the caverns? In the caverns? Why I mean, sure, you could do them anywhere. Eggs that are laid, if there is a male variant of the creature close to it, can be fertilized. Once the eggs are fertilized, or then if they stay in a nest box for the amount of time it takes for the thingy to be born, then the thingy is born. That's how eggs work. Also halfway through reading One Piece. Okay, so in 6 years you'll be halfway through reading One Piece. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really consume soap opera style content, and I realize that sometimes fans of anime get upset with me when I say this, but sorry guys, a lot of anime is just like soap operas for millennials. I don't need that. I'll watch the occasional limited series if it's like really good, but it's not really, it's not a thing I seek out or go out of my way to watch. For a while there, I was like kind of militantly against it, and not because I don't like it in particular. Like there's definitely anime that I've enjoyed. I lived with a lady for a long time, and she was a very big weeb, self-described. So kind of burned out on a lot of that stuff while I was still together with her, and then she moved out, and now it's just like, there's a lot of baggage attached to that kind of animation, so I just kind of don't bother. It's just kind of anxiety-inducing. Unless it's like really good, I kind of avoid it at this point. Like yeah, doesn't do anything for me. I think the last thing that I watched that I truly liked was Durarararara, which was a while ago. I think this was like whenever season 2 came out of that. So it's been a minute. You could, in theory, make a chicken or goose slaughter arena for the underground baddies. I mean, it would only really work once, but sure. Lord Sissy in YouTube chat. No, the last mountain I climbed is peak. Anime is drawings on paper. Also, I will say this, having seen clips of this, even though I haven't seen much of this, animation is looking worse the more like actual 3D animation they put into it. It works in some older ones like Initial D, but I've seen a lot of that stuff where I'm like, this just looks like trash. And I'm not the target audience, so I don't really have any say or a valid opinion, but I think a lot of that stuff just looks like absolute fucking garbage. So I don't know. I'm good. I got out of that fandom and I'm happy. My life is better off for it. If you get value out of it, then more power to you. But it's not for me. Although, Lord Sissy in YouTube chat, if you want to do stuff with eggs in Dwarf Fortress, I recommend cave crocodiles or saltwater crocodiles or some other type of crocodiles because they lay ridiculous numbers of eggs and are actually war trainable in some cases. I've only read the manga that ran. Also, I have no interest in returning. So, also, chat, I'm okay with talking about anime, but do yourself and me a favor. Don't say I should watch something because the answer will always be no. There is like no situation where the answer will be, maybe. It's not gonna happen. It's not something I have interest in. So, you're more than welcome to talk about it. Just please don't tell me to watch it. Okay, so there's another Forgotten Beastie over here. This one is seriously injured. And has killed quite a few Forgotten Beasts, as well as various trolls, crundles, amongst other things. But it appears to be inaccessible currently. But is also quite injured, so... hopefully for the moment I don't have to worry about it too much. Do need to get over there eventually, though. Is that even in... yeah, that is the same cavern there. We're going to start exposing a lot of cliff faces here. Fucking 1983 Mario movie. I've never seen that movie in full. I did see a meme version of that movie, though, where every time somebody said Mario or Luigi, the game doubled in speed. Or the movie doubled in speed. It was like the B movie where every time they say the word B, it doubles in speed. Which was on Twitter for a really long time. No, I get it. Especially if it's even remotely similar to my annoyance or dislike of anime. For me, it's less anime itself and more anime fandom that, like, bugs me. Hey, Rawl. It's certainly a movie that exists. I mean... typically don't engage in fandoms. Yeah. I think for me, it's more of a problem with fandoms in general than anime specifically. I don't think I've ever actually seen those outside of GIFs in regards to the Legend of Zelda cartoons. Krug Smash has made it already. I'm just going to say that about everything when people say any kind of like film adaptation or anything, content relating to Dwarf Fortress. Whenever people say that with the word when at the end, my response is just going to be Krug Smash has already made it. That's just going to be my thing for forever now. See how long I can keep this bit going. I mean, it depends on if you're from Japan or not. If you're from Japan and you speak Japanese, you'd call it an anime. If you're from anywhere else in the world, you'd probably call it a cartoon. Hello, Animator Ash in YouTube chat. I mean, I'll also say this. I'm a metalhead. I didn't like Metalocalypse. I turned it off. I get the feeling that I watched it at the wrong point in my life. Or tried watching it at the wrong point in my life. Because it kind of just did nothing for me. I mean, it seems like a lot of things that were on Adult Swim. Which also kind of didn't do much for me. A lot of creativity, but like, nah, I'm good. Does anybody vaguely remember that one period of time where Adult Swim, like the TV network, was sponsoring streamers through Twitch's like sponsoring system, and a bunch of streamers were watching the show Tigtone at the same time? Does anybody remember that? I've never seen Aqua Teen. I remember being in the same room with people watching Aqua Teen, but I've never actually watched Aqua Teen. I know people who are like extremely into it, but it's never been. If so, is there a reason to make the subterranean ramps like that? I'm not making those ramps. I'm clicking this button to remove them. It's just to get rid of them so that it stops looking like there's ramps there. There is no reason to make ramps. I'm literally just telling them to get rid of the ramps. Unless you're talking about why I'm digging upwards. It's because this is a multiple layer tall area. And if you mine up, then you take out the ceiling as well, basically giving us more space. So if I wanted to build like a Marksdwarf defensive tower or something around here, I could do that, and there's space for it now. That's why I'm doing it that way. But I'm not making ramps up aside from removing the ceiling. Although over here doesn't actually need to be dug. It's kind of a heavy stroke of the mouse. I mean, another show that I never really got into or watched, but it's just because of like the situation in which I was raised, was South Park. I've seen the South Park movie. That is the extent of South Park I have seen. They're like, same with The Simpsons. Like, everybody I know, like, knows everything to do with The Simpsons. I never watched The Simpsons because I didn't have TV. So it wasn't really a thing that was on. And it was not something I ever really went out of my way as a kid to watch. What I've seen, I've liked. Generally, it's like either mildly funny at worst, or it's like funny at best and like mildly annoying at worst, but like it's never been like directly offensive. I thought that arcade game was kind of great because I played that at like laser tag when I was a kid. That was a memorable afternoon. But like, I have no real association with it, positive or negative. I knew better than to try and sneak a watch because you'd get banned from things. Gary, there you go. Did enjoy some South Park. It was never a show I could get super into. I know that it was a show that like there was a chunk of time where a lot of kids that used to beat the shit out of me in like sports and stuff really, really liked and would go on about how good of a show it was and then say some really heinous shit. And I remember thinking, like, this sounds like an awful show. Like, just as, like an early teenager, just being like, man, this sounds awful. And then watching the movie and going, oh, I kind of get it. But still kind of... I do recall people I really didn't like when I was younger loving it. It is heinous shit? Yeah, well, it's heinous shit to show the absurdity of it. Like, as an adult, I think I understand South Park more than I did as a kid. Like, as a kid, I was just kind of like, this is fucked up. Maybe I was just a weird kid, I guess. Beavis and Butthead is another thing I've never seen. Yeah. I saw most of the first season of Family Guy because of, I think it was a family event where my cousin had it on. This really needs to be fixed. The thing is, I could have just gone this way. Why don't I do a drawbridge? How many bars would that use? I wanted to know how many blocks it would use, so I have to do it the other way. $14. Nah. I'm gonna go this way. It'll take 51 to do it this way. I'll go this way and then just put a drawbridge at the end. Because this way I can do walls. Never seen Aeon Flux. Chad is discovering my, like, my, missed culture. This is just the reality that a person lives in when you don't grow up with any TV, right? I would totally, like, you know, we, like Enemies saying here about going to the movie store. We would go to the movie store, but, like, and we would rent things. We did it like twice a month, sometimes 3 times a month. And that was always like, you know, highlight of the week in a lot of cases. But at the same time, it was still just like, yeah, we'd rent things, but there was some things we didn't rent because my parents didn't want to watch it, which was a lot of that stuff, right? Oh, no, absolutely. Which is why I'm like thinking twice about it today. That is one of the reasons I'm thinking twice about it. What have I watched? All of Star Trek? Or at least all of Next Gen, all of the original series, all of DS9, and a good chunk of Discovery, which I didn't like very much. And a good chunk of Voyager, which I didn't like as much as the other ones. That's something my parents liked. What else have I watched? I mean, I've seen like all of Gilligan's Island. Watched all the first 3 seasons of Hogan's Heroes. A lot of more modern TV. I mean, like I've seen all of Breaking Bad as an example. Not a lot of cartoons. I mean, I don't have any nostalgia for it because I didn't watch TV much growing up, except for when I was at my grandma's house, which was odd occasions here and there. So it wasn't something I ever seeked out. And as an adult, like there's all this stuff that people have nostalgia for that I'm just like, yeah. I mean, like I've seen like Ghost in the Shell and stuff like that. I mean, as I said, I've seen all of Dragon Ball. I've seen both versions of Full Metal Alchemist. I've seen all of Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I understand that this is a very unpopular opinion to have now, but I thought that the sequel series was fucking awful. I hated it. Because they managed to make every single character in that show so fucking unlikable. I just didn't want to watch it anymore. It was awful. I'm gonna get rid of all these. Go underground, please. I'm sure it was better than the M. Night Shyamalan movie, but... Alana, thank you very much for the raid. What's up, Raiders? Hello, Raiders. How are we? How was Strem? What were we up to today? How was things and whatnot? Hopefully it was good. If Star Trek Strange New Worlds is the cartoon, right? Remember how earlier I was saying I don't watch cartoons? That. I've said the Star Treks I've seen. I've also seen the all of the movies, or all of the original movies, which are meh. And then I watched most of the Next Gen movies, and then I watched the J.J. Abrams verse. But no, I have not seen any of the animated series, and I have no idea what Strange New Worlds is. Oh, well, that would be why I'm not going to give Paramount money. That's fucking dumb. Why would I do a stupid thing like that? Who do you think I am? Some kind of corporate shill? No, I have not. I will not subscribe to those services. I'm currently giving Apple TV money, but that's because there's some things on Apple TV I want to watch, and then I'm going to unsubscribe. I don't value recent Star Trek enough. The discussion was, what have I seen? So I've said what I've seen. Is that what it is? Yeah, I know. I also have no interest in Lower Decks. I'm good. You're so hooked on Oni? Oh, you should get that fish hook out. It's probably bad for your health. But glad you're enjoying it, though. Did they add new stuff to it, or have you just returned to it? I haven't followed Oni's development since it left early access. Does anybody remember when Oni was a franchise of video games? Yeah, that's like that's exactly what I was thinking too. I was like, no, it's really funny that we call Oxygen Not Included Oni. But because like, yeah, no. Oni is several games made by Ninja Theory? Was it Ninja Theory? I feel like that was a Ninja Theory game. I could be wrong. Was it Bungie that made Oni? Okay, we're thinking of different games. Hold on. Oni game. This is gonna be hard to Google. Oni was a PlayStation game by Bungie. Okay, so what was the other one that I'm thinking of then? Because clearly there was two. There was a third-person action series. Then what fucking game am I thinking of? I don't know. My brain is just hallucinating things into existence. Yeah, no, it was definitely a Bungie game. Anyway, weird. It's literally called Oni, not Ao Oni. It's dinos and prehistoric. I have a question. I don't think Oxygen Not Included takes place on Earth. How could it be prehistoric if it doesn't have Earth? I don't think those are humans. Are those supposed to be humans? I have a lot of questions. It's going all right, Matt S. on YouTube. It's good to see you. But cool. Adding dinos is cool. Especially if they don't have feathers, then you could actually say that they're like, you know, in this universe, they didn't have feathers. Ah. But I don't know. I'm just overthinking the words prehistoric, I suppose. Which is most certainly what's happening here. By that logic, Star Wars would be prehistoric? I mean, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Indeed. I'm waiting, Genose. Let me know when you're ready for me to continue. You literally farm feathers off of dinos? Well, it's more realistic than Jurassic Park then. Or more Earth-focused than Jurassic Park. That's kind of funny, actually. Right, go ahead. Okay, cool. Glad I can continue now. I never actually paused. I lied. But how are you? It's good to see you, Streety. But there are also fossils? Well, there's probably fossils in Star Wars, too. Even though that's technically prehistory. I am vastly overthinking this. But it's good to see you. Thank you very much for the raid, seriously. Appreciate you. I mean, according to my YouTube comments, I'm prehistoric at this point, so, you know. Because every time I look at my YouTube comments, somebody accuses me of being older. It's like, last week I was just Gen X. Now I'm 80. That's all I have to say. Thanks, MG0 on YouTube. Enjoy the lurks. Is that a sin now? I don't know. Back in my day, it was... Wow, now I am old. Back in my day, it was rude to call somebody old. We're older every day. Thanks, genius. Not my point! Grandpa Gaming. Damn right, son! Now I have the legitimate reason to say, "Are you winning, son?" I mean, I do play dad games, so I guess by that logic, there has to be some reality to that. Get down here, you goddamn whippersnapper. It's like Chain Brain getting called Unk. Although it's his own fault for streaming in vertical on YouTube. That's how you get called old. It's good to see you again, Marcelo. Well, I'm draining the fiery of Nope. And why am I building a bridge into the cavern? Because I got to get into the cavern somehow. And it's easier to go this way. So. Yeah. I don't know. Because it's going to be easier for the dwarves to path in than taking my old door. That's why. It's actually like the reason. Are you winning, son? I mean, it is a pretty A+ meme. I don't think it's too moldy yet. I said not too moldy. I never said it didn't have mold on it, okay? We're in an ad break, so I will pause the game for a sec. Did I flood the cavern with lava? There's a small puddle of lava that I created. I wouldn't call that flooding. But did I put that lava there? Yes, I did. Which is why I'm draining it back. Do you know where the term moldy meme comes from, Letterman? Because it's one of my favorite pieces of, like, actual internet lore. It's when you copy-paste a meme, and then you save it, and every time you save it, it compresses it slightly because you re-upload it somewhere else. And then somebody else saves it, and then uploads it somewhere else, and it compresses it slightly. So over the next, like, 10 years of the meme getting reposted, eventually people lose the original file and the original posting. And so the only versions that exist are, like, the reposted versions that have been reposted 100 times. So unless somebody goes back and recreates the original meme, it becomes a moldy meme. I fucking love that, like term. Deep fried memes is another one, but I prefer moldy because it kind of, I don't know, describes memes better, but. JPEG. You know, I feel like I can't say that Necron tier without saying something bad. Like, I feel like I'd be saying a slur if I said that out loud. I know it's not, but. Correct. I guess, like, the moral of the story is memes are bad for you kids. I'm not sure if I'm familiar with that one, Mark S. Or Matt S, not Mark S, sorry. Severance has fried my brain. Speaking of frying things. Memes are the fast food humor? I mean... Then what are dad jokes? Dad jokes are comfort food? Man, people get so mad at me when I tell some dad jokes like I feel like I've committed a crime, so I guess it depends on who you tell the joke to. The epitome of comedic genius? I think skill with words is how I would describe it. That's what I said? Not a human? Not a tactful one, are you? Have you had your hearing checked recently? No, I lavaed the cavern to get the lava out of my fortress. Actually. Rage bait pays bills. Turns out it always has. That's why tabloids exist. Did I limit processed plants?
Letter and cheered. X501.
Letterin! Thanks for the $5 and penny. I appreciate. You know, you could have, like, nuked your ads with that and bought a sub, probably, but thank you, regardless, for the bits. Dethrone you cowards. I don't know about that, but maybe. I mean, you can cancel it. Subscribe and then cancel it. It's not hard. But then you feel bad? That's how I subscribe to people. Usually I sub 1 month at a time here and there. I usually subscribe and cancel like within minutes of subscribing. And I won't judge you if you do that. That makes sense. If anything, that's like financially responsible. Through my tavern? Probably. It's a very generic thing to do, so probably. I haven't done one recently. But I've run water through all sorts of rooms. Hallways, staircases, ceiling vents, all kinds of stuff I've run water through in Dwarf in the past. But, like, recently, I don't know. I don't recall doing that in any forts in, like, recent history. But I've definitely done it before. I think that's the sort of thing that I did a lot more often before light aquifers were added. With the lava behind, chef's kiss? Oh, I agree. Especially if I do this. Turn off the numbers. I mean, look at that. Just gonna get rid of this dwarf. Tired of dealing with your bullshit, dwarf. Stop breaking my stuff, please. All this discussion of mold has got kneecap lyrics stuck in my head. just for reference, my brain sitting here is like, it just has the song "Sick in the Head" stuck in my head now. So because he's been sitting too long getting moldy on the shelf. And he'd rather be sick in the head than and have a little bit of wealth. How do you deal with problem dwarves? You click the expel button. Usually I'm more tolerant. I try and like deal with their moods, but because I'm like building a bigger project in this fort, I'm just kind of starting to say fuck it and just expelling them. But usually what I do is I try and satisfy their needs and or like improve their moods by overcompensating is usually what I try to do. But in this particular fort, I'm kind of saying fuck it. Just random cage traps. That's the only way to do it. Just scatter them around in the areas that they walk. YouTube chatter. Oh, I've definitely used pissed off soldiers to go take over locations and run them. It's like, congratulations, you're pissed off. Now, you're gonna go take over this goblin pit and run it as a helix. Congratulations, you're now in politics. Get out of my military, motherfucker. I've definitely done that before. I'm too far gone when it comes to mental health. Yep, nope, that song's stuck in my head. It's gonna be stuck in my head for the next day or so. You've been promoted to tyrant for bad behavior. There you go. Yeah. Exactly. Okay, well, we've got a bunch of process plants jobs going. I'm going to open up a bunch of these looms. I mean, that is actually kind of a thing I do pretty frequently. I've been kind of hoping that I would get like a helix forming around this fort now that I have a count, because I have all the prereqs to do that, but it just hasn't happened, so that part's a bit of a shame, but... Yeah, and also if I feel like I can satisfy their needs later down the line, you could theoretically ask for them to come back if you send them off to another area like that. Or they could visit. I don't really like killing them usually. I usually like to try and expel things to places that I have control over. But another thing that I'm doing right now with all of this logging is I've been getting threatened by the elves pretty frequently. I guarantee you they're going to invade me. At the rate that I'm doing this, we're going to get invaded by the elves. And I'm kind of okay with that. I'm kind of curious to see what they'll bring. I don't normally go to war with the elves, but maybe it's time. It's been a while. Oh, that's a lower tree. Dwarf has been found dead. Oh. Did something cave in? Dwarf must have just like stepped in there or something splashed up. Yeah. How did that? Huh. At least we still have the body. Slipped and fell? Nope. There's no real contaminants on the floor, so there's nothing really for them to slip and fall on. Something must have fallen out of a tree, or something must have collapsed. I didn't see anything collapse. I mean, choking on smoke underground, not dust. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. I'm not actually sure what happened there. Has to have just been a rock. Although this is all going to be gone soon. Bumrek the Planter has been taken by a Fey mood. I'm also going to hotkey this. I realize this fort's a little slow, but, you know, this is kind of a mega project fort, so that is kind of part of the appeal. Ooh. We've got another competent weaponsmith. Iron bars this time. Oh. Oh, I know what's happening. Midnight X just died. So dwarves are trying to run through this. and the lava's probably tipping to the left and or right and catching them out. That's probably what is happening. Because some of the lava is still moving around a little bit. That has to be it. That has to be it. I mean, correct, Necrontier. Very much correct. And also, chat room, thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in today. You know, on this middle of the summer. It's the slow season for me, generally. It's crazy that that video that I uploaded this morning is doing as well as it is. And thank you to those of you who've tuned into the streams on Twitch and YouTube. So, appreciate you guys. I wouldn't have this job if you guys didn't tune in and watch.
Crypt lava, crypt lava, crypt lava.
Merlin Buff, thanks for the crypt lava, crypt lava, crypt lava. I crypt lava to see it. Thanks, mate. Also, Cilantro is making Garden Crest leaf roasts. X4. Let's just jump up to here. Go up to here. Plunk it down one of these. What's the main project of this fortress? I'm trying to drain the caverns and turn the, or not the caverns, the magma sea and make it constructible and, or maybe invade hell. But we're in endgame. And also mess around with ranged dwarves. I mean, those are the same emotes. It's the same picture, right? Right, Merlin Buff? It's the same picture. Thank you so much, though, for keeping that subscription alive. Appreciate you, man. Hope that your day has been good. At least here it's a holiday. But it is a holiday. I don't know if, or don't really expect to do anything special for today, but my aunt will be crashing tomorrow night, so I get to figure out if I'm doing anything with my aunt and uncle over the weekend. Because they're riding their bikes over and then they're house sitting. You know, I gotta say Bongo Dwarf, or Crypt Bongo, maybe quietly one of my best emotes. You haven't seen the ranged dwarves in action? You're curious? I think there are some pretty good clips of them like kiting pretty efficiently. They're very efficient. Actually, if you look at the DF News video I made, Animator Ash, that has some footage of them. It's like not the last video I uploaded this morning, but the one before. Hey chat, you want to make the dopamine in my head go burr? Could somebody gift one sub? I just want to have 3 people on the leaderboard. This is a vanity thing. It's my only request. But yeah, Ash, if you want to just see them in action, I do have footage of it. I also like explain the changes, so. Thank you, that works. That's 4 times more than I asked for, but thank you for the 5-pack. Appreciate you. Thanks, Grumpy. Also, Grumpy, you're still not grumpy. You're still one of the happiest dwarves in the fort. You are like almost entirely satisfied in your life. You are a very happy dwarf. The irony continues. And then let's go up and deal with the last of this. I mean, streamer is kind of e-begging, so. Let's go up to here. And let's keep going up. Oh, and the game froze. I was like, why? Why camera no move? Okay, up to here. This is kind of the last area that needs to get filled up. This project, building this goddamn staircase, has taken so long. It's taken so long. Probably the most time-consuming part of this whole project. My head go burr? Is this a heads will roll thing? Why would my head go burr? The dwarf just ran straight past where I thought they were going. So now I'm like, are you going all the way down there and then back up? Is there some pathing weirdness here? No? Midnight X has been missing for a week. Shocker. I did see them catch on fire. Because of the gift subs? You know, I think that you kind of get desensitized to it after a bit, and at a point it just kind of becomes like, bills are paid. But there are points where my brain kind of goes, what? But no, I can't say that my head went burr. No. It's not cold currently. It would need to be quite cold for my head to do that. Let's see if this sets stuff on fire. Hey! They fell perfectly where there's no lava. Do you guys know that they do that? And like, yeah, no, that one did it too. I've always been like cautious around chopping down trees of any kind around lava. Oh my god. Hold up. Also, now you're thirsty, so you're probably about to go leave to go get a drink, but like... That's incredible. Did you guys know lava does that? Because I didn't. That is weird. Like, genuinely, that is kind of weird. You definitely saw one fall in lava, but it's not burning. Like, there'd be something burning by this point. Like, they fell in between the lava. Maybe it's the dwarf putting them down. The dwarf's just very talented at chopping down trees so that they don't fall on the lava and catch fire. Can't waste a single block. I'm telling you. That's a valuable resource. Certain types are. I think it's only nether cap, though. Necron tier. I'm pretty sure it's just nether cap. That is lava safe. The floor is quite literally lava? Well, no, but there is lava on the floor. It's like a pop song from the early, or like 2010s, where it's like the lava on the dance floor, you know? That pop hit that has Akon on it, probably. I could be wrong. Others could also be lava safe, but I think it's just Nethercap. All right, so now we can no longer use, or we can now finally stop using this stupid staircase. Why Akon? I don't know, because he was the first person who came to mind. I could have said, like, I don't know, some other person. I mean, I could have said featuring vocalist and David Guetta. That would have like covered the era. Could have said Jeff, yes, featuring David Guetta and Jeff. Where is this dwarf going? Frame rate is like hitching again. There we go. This fort very stuttery. Hopefully I'll figure out the problem sooner than later. I want to say Dave Groller Bear died. Hold on, let me check. Nope, Dave Groller Bear is still alive. We were talking about hybrid grizzly and polar bears, and chat was calling them Pizzlies, and I said, how about Groller? And I was like, but then it's a Dave Groller Bear, and so thus Dave the Groller Bear was born. Because it's the best, 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 the best. I've got trees to cut through. There goes my hero. I don't have anything against Dave Grohl. I think he's really funny. You want me to name a happy dwarf Jeff? Okay. No other restrictions, just happy dwarf? Just happy dwarf? All right, we found our Jeff chat. The Exalted Oil, Jeff. Jeff is an Exalted Oil and loyal religious leader. Jeff is naturally trustful of everybody and is very greedy. Lacks confidence in her abilities, is very curious, sometimes to her detriment, and is currently praying and meditating. She has little interest in joking around and often acts with compassion. YouTube chat, the first person to put a beer emoji in the YouTube chat gets to name either a dwarf or something else. She has a tendency to go alone without considering the advice of others, and she doesn't seek out excitement. She can handle stress, and she isn't particularly ambitious. She finds obligations confining. She's conflicted by this for more than one reason. She needs alcohol to get through the working day and doesn't really care about anything anymore. She dreams of mastering a crafting a masterwork someday. Personally finds those that develop skills with weapons and fighting distasteful, and doesn't see the attainment of knowledge as important. And that doesn't look like a very vile force of darkness. Speaking of vile forces of darkness, chat, a vile force of Tarn Adams is going to be on my stream next week. Next week? Is that shit? Is that next week? No. Week after next? July 9th. So yeah, next week. I will have a video up probably on Saturday announcing that. Or maybe a post, actually. I might just do a post in the current era. It makes more sense to maybe do a short and a post. So I'll be taking audience questions again. We'll mostly be talking about the Siege update and stuff coming up. What in darnation? Yeah. It'll be at 10 a.m. Pacific time, which I think is 6 p.m. his local time. I mean, Brian has the power if Brian wants to do it. I mean, you got it, Brian. I mean, Chris just had a really good idea. I'm not saying you need to take Chris's idea, Brian, but like you could take Chris's idea if you would like. Anyway, let's finish reading this dwarf's description. The Vile Darkness Force has already left. She likes native aluminum and bismuth and bronze and pinfire opal and river otter and leather, the cotton fabric, the color yellow, floodgates and chains and pigs for their sense of smell, albatrosses for their large wings, the words of the Golden Gorge and the site of the Diamond Mines, and when possible prefers to consume alfalfa and Fonio beer, and absolutely hates worms. Worships Kadol and has no other friends, and is a religious leader of the Creative Cobalt. Okay, so Brian Burton in YouTube chat got the posting the beer emoji, and is using a very good idea from Chris, which is I need to name a bear Kurt Colbert to go with Dave Grohler Bear. So Kurt Colbert, the name will appear in a bit, has a strong tendency towards privacy, is not driven, and rarely feels the need to pursue even a modest success, tends to be a little tight with resources when working on projects, occasionally overindulges and doesn't focus on material goods. He is grateful when others help him out, and he tries to return favors. He can easily fall in love or develop positive feelings, and he's quite comfortable with others that have a different appearance or culture. Not too far off. He recovers slowly, sadly isn't musical. Is covered in goblin blood, though. And I'm going to war train him. Where was I going here? Pets. Bear. To wait until the name appears. There it is. Is it unique that Tarn Adamans is a vile force of Tarn, or is Tarn usually a vile force? I don't know. It felt right at the time, so I said it. There wasn't any real logic or meaning to that statement. Sorry, hello, it's good to see you. Also, good idea, Chris, for Kurt Colbert. All right, so Kurt Colbert is gonna get trained as a war bear after getting gelded. Uh-oh. Snatcher, protect the childs! Let's see. Should really just get these dwarves to just training. But they are all close by. It's kind Kind of hoping they'd fire bolts, but didn't look like it. Saw a bolt go flying. There's part of me that's really tempted to just invade the other factions so that they start attacking me more. But at the same time, I'm building this big project, so like if they don't attack me, it doesn't exactly bother me. But I do think this fort would be more exciting if I did. Whatever happened to me doing that? Hold on. Just gonna get rid of this and just say monthly. And let's just say 250 monthly. How much rope reed do I have? Okay, so I got 42 rope reed. How much hemp do I have? 63. We should just power through those. Like, let's just power through those. That'll also get them all replanted. So this one's doing that around the season. Same with this one. Rope reed. Rope reed. Hemp. Rope reed. And now that all those tantrumers are gone, hopefully they'll stop toppling my farm fields, which is still genuinely one of the silliest things that this game does. Devilish
Okay,
potato!
It's that time of the month where number goes up. Also, hello.
Hope you're doing all right, all things considered. Thank you much for tuning in. Appreciate you as always. But how's things? And welcome back. Just got back from the work day. You have one more day? Oh boy. Is the last day a day of actual work, or is it like the show up and pack up? Oh, then you get vacation. Okay. Because you said on Discord that your thing's being dissolved, so. Or is that just the official statement that it's going to be dissolved now? Actual work. Gotcha. Well, something to do. The elves are still willing to trade with me, shockingly enough. Kind of amazed by this, actually. Don't bring wet talk here? What? Actual work is requires washing your mouth out with soap? Oh, the work word. Right. Through knowing it's basically dead man walking. I feel like you're experimenting or experiencing shipping a video game and video game development. I know that that's not the industry that you work in, but It's like, well, time to get laid off. We finished the work. And you don't even have the excuse of the work is mysterious and important. It's just important. But Potato may have had the most warning I've ever heard of somebody who's going to lose their job. It's been like a year. Greetings from the woodlands. We are pissed at you, probably. Oh. They'll let me chop down 41 trees. I think I've chopped down more than 41 trees, but I'll say yes. You know, I know somebody who worked at McDonald's, enemy, got hired by Target, like headhunted as a manager, because he was like a shift manager at McDonald's. So he became a shift manager at Target, you know, moving up in the world as you do. When Target became a thing that existed in Canada. Then Target shut down. And he went to Target, was paid 6 months in advance labor to quit his job at McDonald's to go to Target. Then got a year's severance because Target was shutting down. And got his job back at McDonald's about 4 months later. So he basically just got a year and a half work to go work somewhere else for a couple months. I'm still kind of jealous of that dude, actually. Aside from the part where he worked at McDonald's. So a bubble that shoots deadly dust is here. The forgotten beast Ulsan has come, a towering blob composed of water. It is a shock that it's lived this long. It has wings and it undulates rhythmically, probably because it's made of water. And beware its deadly dust. I do need to jump to the surface here real quick. Go up to here. Click this button before I forget. And then go to here and link it up to that. Now, where is it? Okay, so it can get to me, I think. Oh, no, I don't think it can get to me. But it is amazing that this creature has survived as long as it has. It's just sitting there. Doesn't seem to... Oh, now it's moving. It's just water, dusty water. It's just dusty water, yeah. It's never killed anything, so it may have just like gotten very lucky and never encountered anything else. There's aluminum right there? Holy shit. And aluminum right there. Holy shit. The dirty bub. Something like that. Yeah, jeez. I've mined various chunks of aluminum so far in this fort, yeah. It's like aluminum and gold are the only things I really have on the map. Strong is relevant. Or relative, I guess. But still going, yeah. It's a bit laggy. I'm getting these pretty consistent and not ideal frame hitches. That I don't really have a solution for, that I've been trying to figure out for a while now. But aside from that, it's still going. Still slowly working towards bigger goals. The bigger goals, I guess. Nani? Nani indeed. Never seen it in your game ever? Yeah, that's like me and Killinite. I can't remember the last time I saw Killinite. It is pretty rare to find aluminum. But that's true to reality too, right? Like... Platinum is more often than is more common and available in larger quantities than aluminum usually. So that doesn't surprise me too much. I miss when diamonds were extremely rare. I think like the maybe the second time in my life that I saw diamonds was when I first played the premium versions. It was like literally the second or third time I'd ever seen diamonds. Kind of bums me out, actually, that they're super common now. I hope that gets changed at some point, because I think that that would be better for my, like, personal value of diamonds, I guess. Ooh. Oh. Okay, so somebody mined out a thing up here. Not entirely sure how, but a bunch of water poured out. And then slowly flowed down into here. Which caused that to collapse. Was slightly anxiety-inducing. Oh well. It's artificial scarcity. Oh, I know. It's like something like 70% of the world's diamonds came from Russia in one specific mine. I remember reading about that mine and my mind being blown. No pun intended. Just gonna roof this off over here. We're closer to 2050 than 2000? Yeah. Just do some math about like what year it will be when you're like 70. It makes me respect my grandparents more for being like, you damn kids about everything. Like, kind of, actually. Like, oh yeah, no, I kind of feel that now, I guess. Like, it's relatable. Although someone said that I look like I'm 80 in a YouTube comment this morning, and maybe I'm just like starting my 18th midlife crisis over it. Oh, duh. No! No! Fancy glass pendants? I feel like bears don't have the right to bear arms, because if a bear had arms, I would want to speak with the genetics engineer who manufactured it about animal welfare and ethics. However, I do think bears have the right to bear claws. Sorry, I was playing off of a thing YouTube chat said blame them for that. Don't blame me. I did nothing wrong. Because honestly, if a bear had arms, that sounds like some CRISPR shenanigans. That was barely funny. Gonna have to scavenge for some jokes like the salmon they eat. That wasn't funny. Didn't work. I tried. I had a theory, it didn't land. I'm gonna have to cub this joke on the head, though. Probably. As in, like, the donut? Devilish? I don't think I've ever had one of those. You're gonna berate me for that one? Ooh. Ouch. You know, chat, when we stop telling these jokes, everybody will think that they're safe from them, and then they'll realize that we're just hibernating for the winter. Ta-cha. You're just going to grin and put up with it? Do you not like dad jokes? I'm sorry. That's kind of like impossible for me to not. It's just kind of part of my nature. Dad jokes by nature is probably my my biography. I won't say it, Canyon, but I respect it. Or will you do the really sharp pivot? I feel like I would need to hear somebody verbally say one of those to, like, get it. I thought the non-jokes were, like, when you just tell a completely unrelated story for 30 minutes for the sake of a pun and just do, like, the Norm Macdonald thing. Or, like, the Josh Johnson thing, where it's like, this is a 35-minute semi-related analogy that's kind of funny in its own right story, to then just, like, bring it back around and make everybody burst out laughing. Because suddenly you just realize that he's spent 45 minutes explaining why Elon Musk is a stripper. It's that kind of thing. He is hilarious. He's also the only comedian I've ever showed to my parents that my mom didn't hate. So, I consider that a win. He just tells a story? I mean, he doesn't tell jokes. I mean, a lot of his humor is, like, physical. Like, you could... If you were to get, like, a Josh Johnson comedy special on CD, it wouldn't hit the same. You know? Like, it kind of needs the visual gag element to it. So it's still comedy, and it's still stand-up comedy. He just doesn't really tell jokes in the way a lot of modern comedy does. Oh, he's definitely had bits where he's sitting down and bits where he's lying down, but it's got more in common with like slapstick in a lot of ways. Yeah. Comedy stands on its own. That is true. It's a novice spear dwarf. Any brave dwarfs in here? This dwarf has like, wait, what? This dwarf has no unique preferences? So like, dwarves can be like in one way or another that like veers them away from the faction norms, but if they're specifically down the middle when it comes to faction norms, then they have no preferences. This dwarf just has all of the default faction preferences for dwarves. This is the most dwarfs to ever dwarf. The real Urist, yeah. The true centrist Urist. And is polite. Hates having advice and has low willpower, but is musical. Huh. Since you're musical. It's a Urist's Urist. Yeah, no, the most Urist to ever Urist. Actually, are you in a religion Urist? Creed of Cobalt. Is that this one? Yeah. You're gonna go be a musician for the Creed of Cobalt. Which, what was your skills? An adequate dancer and a competent wind instrumentalist. I don't have any wind instruments, but... Traumatize it now. It won't add variations in there. Well, actually, it might just add the purple ones. You dream of mastering a skill? Mr. Mason. I do as well. ACME in YouTube chat. You want to fight? Are you brave at all? Dwarf dreams of raising a family. High Master Siege Operator. Poor spatial sense. Of course, the wood burn as a wind instrumentalist has been practicing blowing on flames for a really long time. What do you think I was going to say? Fragger! Hello. It's good to see you. Expert Marksdwarf. I mean, get in there, dwarf. You've got a developed sense of empathy, hey? Just quick to anger. Specs Power doesn't particularly care about craft storesship and doesn't care about friendship. Time to get this jeweler in there. Whoops. Poor memory and hateful. You can also go join the military. Poor memory will forget the bad stuff. Hateful hates the bad guys. Works for me. But how you doing today, Fraga? Those things. It's good to see you as always. Well. Don't forget to grab your complimentary crossbow on the way in, yeah. Don't forget your complimentary crossbow. And if you're cross, don't forget you can bow. This is going to take a little bit of digging. I have to do that cautiously, too. Should also do a little bit more chipping around the edge of this. Oopsies. Can't get... no, I can't get to that. So that I will dig out there. Muffins hot? Don't eat hot muffins. Let the muffins cool. And yeah, I would say they're also safer now with their crossbow than they were with melee weapons recently. Or no, sorry, they're safer with crossbows now than they were recently with crossbows. That's what I'm looking for. Like, crossbows have become a much safer weapon for dwarves to wield ever since this most recent update. You know what? This should actually be done from the top. That was the wrong button I clicked. Well, now they leave and get ammo and go back, regardless of how far it is, which is a little wild, actually. Between the enemy, you have a pit in front of them and they don't use them? I haven't seen that happen. I only see them leaving to get more ammo. Or if they can't see them. I mean, like, They have like certain angles that they can't see down at. You might want to, like if you have an overhang and they're like right beneath it, they can't shoot through it because they can't see them. So it depends on line of sight, I guess. I don't think that's new. Although I can't see what your design is. And that description is not much. My nose is itchy. God damn it. Why is my nose itchy? I don't want to pick my nose on stream. You have 2 melee squads of 10 pre-update, maybe 1 crossbow squad and the rest melee. I have 4 crossbow squads and 1 melee. But yeah, I'm not sure. I wouldn't be able to tell you without seeing it. But it is possible that they're too close to the thing. My nose doesn't need to be blown. I've got an itch on the inside of my nose that's like right there. It's got nothing to do with blowing my nose. My nose is completely clear. You go blow your nose. Nose blower. It would be interesting if the dwarves didn't know their traits and they have to tell a citizen in your fort before it shows up in their screen. I mean, visitors do that. So, there is that. Your dwarves don't do that because they've all journeyed in as a group. At least that would be my headcanon reason as to why I would explain it and why I would explain it that way is because like they traveled there as a group, so they all know each other already. So like that makes some sense. Also, since I'm in an ad break and I have a captive audience, I'm just gonna say, if you haven't watched it yet, I put out a new video this morning, which I'm very proud of and people seem to like. If you haven't watched it yet, there's a link. Maybe check it on your watch later, and or if you have watched it and you haven't yet, don't forget to leave a like on it. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to leave a comment on it. I would like to see that video do well because I spent the last 2 weekends on it. Well, last weekend and a half, I guess. I spent like half of the weekend before on it, and then this past weekend on it. But I would like to see that video do well. And it's doing quite well right now, but it could slow down. And I would like to see it continue going, so. Now we're back. I don't know what you mean by I already did that one, but okay. If you're saying I already promoted that video, then, you know. Oh, I didn't say hibernating a second time. What are you talking about? Somebody else might have said it, but I didn't. You'd have to go and clip it. If I said hibernating, it wasn't in like reference to the bears thing. What are you talking about? Besides, there's no rules with puns that you can't say the same pun multiple times. It just stops being as funny after the first time. I have. It's just been a couple hours. Animator Ash. Although I'll most likely make a community post about it tomorrow. And also, Sandberg, it's good to see you, by the way. Saw you pop in, but I didn't say hi. So, chat, what are you playing today? Did you guys buy anything on the Steam sale, by the way? I bought Doom. Because, you know, I buy recent games by indie studios. Now, I bought Doom because of that video that I was making, and it was a relevant purchase to that, and it is like $3 right now. I might actually like play through Doom off stream because it's been a long time since I've played Doom 1, especially 2 more recently, but it has been a long time. So I might play through Doom on my off time because why not? I like Doom. Doom's fun. Although I became very well aware of how bad I am at Doom. When I was working on the Jupiter Hell Classic / Doom the Roguelike video, which I uploaded this morning, I was occasionally showing drafts to the developer because I don't know, it's fun to tease people and show them stuff I'm working on, and I like getting feedback and it's helpful. And he responded, he's just like, man, you're getting really good at this. I'm like, you're clearly not talking about me missing point blank targets in my Doom gameplay, but thank you. Blazing Iceberg, thank you very much for the 18 months. Welcome back with Prime. They're trying not to buy everything. Dude, that RoboCop game looked kind of legit. I hope it lives up to the price of however many dollars you paid for it. You bought some Total War DLC, that's about it. The game everybody loves to hate, right? They're trying not to... So, like, what are there things that are higher up on your list than others? I'll say Cell Stars. Not yet. Income is tight. Take care of yourself first. Yeah, no, that's the priority, for sure. Some Valheim of recent, not much of late. Fair enough. Did you ever watch more of that YouTube channel I recommended to you, Devilish? I randomly recommended that Devilish watch Post 10. I don't know if anybody else watches the internet's river superhero or drainage superhero, but legit, that dude is like my evening entertainment whenever he uploads. Is like, well, got an hour of Post 10 unclogging a pipe. Or unclogging a drain in the middle of the forest, and I get to hear forest sounds of water running for the next hour. This is great. Literally heaven. I mean, sounds like a lot of big strategy games to me, is everything that I've heard about that. Big Baza. Jack, can I get a round of beers for Blazing Iceberg for remembering to click the Prime button 18 times? It is very kind of them. They deserve a round of beers for that. You don't want to hear my takes on Soul Ash 2 unless you guys like me talking a lot of shit. YouTube chat. Developer of that game's a fucking cuck. That's all I have to say. Dude's a piece of shit. Avoid that game like the plague. But if you already have it, you do you. So you want a... that arrived in the last migration phase. I'll try a few randoms, but I can't guarantee that. Especially because they may not be true neutral anymore. How about I do this dwarf? Right? This is the one that you want? Drew? Drew, the performer, the jurist's jurist, is very polite and observes the appropriate rules of decorum when possible and dislikes receiving advice, preferring to keep her own counsel. She accepts favors without developing a sense of obligation, preferring to act as the current situation demands. She is swayed by emotional appeals and is not readily moved by art or natural beauty. She is conflicted by this. She values artwork and its creation. She is grounded in reality, and she's quite comfortable with others of a different appearance or culture. She often feels envious of others and doesn't cling tightly to ideas, is open to changing her mind, and she tends to be passive in discussions. She has a greedy streak, and she tends to reveal personal information. Tends to not reveal personal information. She likes to live a fast-paced. She lives a fast-paced life, and she is somewhat quarrelsome, and she is bothered by this, and she values friendship. She doesn't try to get things done perfectly, and needs alcohol to get through the working day, and has no personal values. Just completely agrees with everything. Because he's a raging homophobe and racist. Abraxas? That's why. He likes kimberlite and silver and rock crystal, as well as blue jay parchment, gems and scepters, and guinea fowls. He's, yeah. Kind of a piece of shit, basically. Not even like a polite one. He's just kind of a piece of shit. Which sucks. He likes gems, scepters, and guinea fowls for their social nature and the sound of the tressed lilac, and when possible prefers to consume alpaca and single grain wheat beer. Alpaca specifically, and single grain wheat beer, and hard wheat flour. Yeah, if you go look at his Twitter feed for like 90 seconds, you'll be like, ah! He's one of those. He had 2 people leave him negative reviews for saying he wouldn't add same-sex couples to his game, and then he just went on a "my game is getting review bombed" rampage that lasted the rest of his life, and it's still going. Every time I check in on him occasionally, he's still yelling about it, and it was like, a year ago that happened. So, yeah, he's a raging freak who I don't like. Prue, thanks for the 12 months. Appreciate you greatly. Peculiar Lobster, thanks for arriving. How is you? We talking about Thor? No. The developer of Soul Ash 2. I don't know. Thor just seems like a weird famous person to me. I don't really follow what he says or does very much, aside from him talking smack about Stop Killing Games, which just seems kind of like a lowball miss for him, and seems to be in poor taste. So I don't know. You have to be a bit like self-absorbed and neurotic to do this job. It happens kind of frequently. Anyway, welcome to the fort. Yeah, Soul Ash ain't as crazy as the Domino guy, but he's close. Big Nick was the Domino guy. Close. Similar puddle. Different pond. I don't really want to get into Thor. It's too popular to hate him. And I'm more of a... I consider myself a hipster when it comes to hating people. I mostly just don't want to attract drama in my chat. That's mostly it. Because it tends to sit mostly on Twitter, Netcert, and YouTube chat. So if you're an adult and you don't go on Twitter, then you generally don't see his raging nonsense. You're not a normal person if you're still mad a year later. If you're an adult, you would grow a brain after a bit. That's not normal, men. Please don't lump all of Poland into one guy being a shithead. Because I know plenty of lovely people from Poland. Alright, what am I doing? Trying to change the subject is what I'm doing. There's a difference between not being progressive and being a rude, aggressive jackass, right? You can not be progressive, but also understand how to treat people with some dignity and respect. Like, I don't really care what your politics are. If you're just gonna go direct harassment at people with little grounds or logic, yeah, you can just get fucked and go away. That's all it really is. Like, there's plenty of people out there who are conservative who understand that, like, you can disagree with people all you want, but if you vilify people, you're the asshole. I've said my piece. The only thing that's good about Twitter is that we all still call it Twitter. Keep it up, chat. Having Twitter is just flagging for PvP IRL. I mean, you could say that about a lot of social media. You could say that about Reddit, probably. It's damn hot. I mean, yes, very hot in the weather. All right. The social link and stuff. I mean, as somebody who has a website, I'm really lazy about updating it. To me, it just proves that I'm not the only lazy person about updating their website. You know? Still on my business cards, but that's because I haven't needed new business cards in a really long time. Kind of shows how long it's been since I actively went to events where I required business cards for things. It was 114 Fahrenheit on Sunday. That is entirely too fucking hot. RXN. Also, your dwarf's still alive and very happy. Just thought I'd let you know. Are people still in heat waves? Like, I was hearing about, like, last week, it was like a good chunk of North America was in a heat wave, but... Oh, I see the problem here. My captain of the guard tantrumed. Make Bonesaw my captain of the guard. I'm sorry. The Hore cactus. I read that as the horny cactus. I was like, excuse me? Dwarfort? What? I'm like, the what cactus? The rest of the Watchmen. Duh. That is the new norm. It wouldn't be, it would just be summer if it wasn't a heat wave, right? Heat wave implies that it's not the norm, but... But it is, in fact, hot in the Southwest. Every cactus has a little prick, so they're men? What? Air is baden. It's hot where you're at. I've been like very much resisting not talking about the weather because it's been like it was unseasonably cool up until recently, and now it's like normal summer weather. And I'm just like I'm very happy it's the temperatures that it is because it's like not ridiculous at all. Like it's been hot, but like it's normal summer temps. Even with clouds, that sucks, Brian. Brian says it's been insanely hot even with clouds over in the YouTube chat. You have a summer weather. Luckily, you have normal summer weather other night now. Yeah. It's also like, I don't know, 15 to 20 degrees. Maybe not quite 20, but like 10 to 15 degrees cooler than it was consistently where I used to live. So I just feel really lucky that I'm not like stuck, I guess, in those temperatures again. Because it's like been around 30 where I used to live, and here it's been like 20 to 25 tops. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. I apologize. I need to open up like a search engine to do the conversion, and I'm too lazy. Or a calculator. Then only Northern Hemisphere people talk about the weather? Because we have weather, or rather, variation in the weather. It's like, you don't talk about the weather when the weather never changes. Although I guess, like, California people talk about the weather, and they don't really have variation in the weather, so maybe, I guess I retract my statement. That and we speak the same language with most of the people in a pretty large range of temperatures. So I'm constantly conversing with people from California where like the weather's pretty different. So it's like, there's reason to talk about it. It's like, I can understand why people in Russia don't talk about the weather because like, no matter what end of Russia you're in, it's like, well, how's the weather been? Rainy, gray, cold. Except for summer where it's fucking hot for like a week. And then back to rainy, grain, cold. The heat is all you've known. When I grew up, it rained 9.5 months of the year. Rain, snow, mosquitoes. Oh, so Manitoba. Sorry, Manitoba. But like, come on. Rain, snow, mosquitoes. In that order. It's supposed to be doing the rain gay cold thing. What? The rain gray cold thing, but it's been hot for a while. Yeah. You'd love to the rain gay cold. That sounds like the name of that sounds like the stage name for a comedian. Rain gay. Like Marvin Gaye. How are those archers shooting? You haven't had the chance to play yet? Oh, they've been pretty great, actually. I mean, I had them, not today, but the last stream I had them kiting Etten. They took out a Forgotten Beast earlier, like down a stairwell. Like, they're quite effective. I haven't been getting attacked much, but I also haven't been trying to get attacked much. I'm trying to invade Hell. So in order to do that, I'm doing a lot of construction, which is very unnecessary and taking way too long. But it's kind of a mega project for it. I've had this idea for a video for a while, which is, can you actually beat Dwarf Fortress? And so like I'm slowly working towards that. So I'm trying to think, it's like, what's my definition of like beating Dwarf Fortress? Well, drain the lava sea. Invade Hell. Construct something in Hell. And it's gonna take a while. The draining the lava sea part specifically. Mine out the whole map. I don't know if that's beating Dwarf Fortress, but maybe your definition of beating Dwarf Fortress. We are not the same, I suppose. Actually, I can just dig all this out. Although, these need to be dug up first. Although I need to also be cautious not to dig into this. Also need to redirect it into a few spots. Need to redirect it down into here so I can block this off. Like... Easy enough. Yeah, Sethados of Archcrystal. I've had a beer with him. The guy who colonized Hell. The game was very different back then, but... I like deserts in the winter. He says at YouTube chat who's talking about deserts. Like, the Nevada desert in, like, late November is lovely. But I'm good the rest of the year. Usually mine over the whole map. Well, that would be after you win, right? I'm like still working to the part where I win. I haven't won yet. I have to win to do that. Let's see what's below this. Conquer the world? I don't want to do that. I'm just going to be honest. I really don't want to do that. I don't find that part of combat in Dwarf Fortress to be that interesting. If hell ain't enough for you, then I guess I will never defeat Dwarf Fortress. Mining out the whole map that you settle on is mining out the whole world. No. No, it really, well, no, not without doing a lot of hacking. And I would argue not worth it, but very not. I mean, even taking over the whole world, kind of not worth it. Just ask America about that. But no, my goal for this fort is to invade Hell and win with the new Marks Dwarves, because I want to see if how doable that is. And we're working towards it slowly by doing this. Very slowly. I mean, we reclaimed a cavern layer today, which is making progress slowly. Yeah, yet it is one of the most requested things that I do in Dwarf Fort. World domination! It's like, why? There's so many more interesting things I could do with my time. But yeah, I don't know anybody who actually finds the overworld combat in Dwarf Fortress to be particularly interesting. I'm kind of glad it's not tedious, though. Like, at the very... It's like, it's a straightforward thing. You send your dwarves out, they fight, they come back, etc. Repeat. Uh-oh. Well, that's a problem. I was trying not to do that, and then I did that. Well, you're no longer drowning, so that's good. You're gonna fall down a level? Probably? Okay. Is the pump for this plugged in? Because if it is, I gotta turn it off. Think it was from over here? It is. All right. Gotta go down here. Gotta go to this, because this is hooked up to this, right? Yep. Pull the lever, Dwarf. Please. Thank you. I mean, there's that one YouTube short I made where the entire map is covered in books. So I don't need to think of them. I've seen it. I did have I've had several libraries with like 1,000+ books in them, so It's not out of the realm of possibility. Yeah, no. It's just bugs that make it tedious. So no, you're correct. Yeah, if you're trying to completely wipe sites, it can be a bit tedious. I agree with that. But like, there is one piece of tedium that people say is a bug, but is kind of intended, which is dwarves don't kill civilians. So when there's only civilians left in a location, I was kind of expecting that to happen. When there's only civilians left in a location, you're kind of SOL on trying to take it over. Are you gonna drown now? Necrontyr, no! Well, time to learn to swim. Well, at the very least, you can go this way. Where are you trying to go? Oh. I admire the dedication, Dwarf. Well done. You were content after being near a waterfall. Don't mind the dead bodies, like... I'm actually kind of curious, what is your climbing skill, or what is your swimming and climbing skills? You're a novice swimmer and a dabbling climber. That is the most like shit. Back to digging a hole. We are in an ad break, but the exciting thing already happened. This will drain pretty quickly now that the thing is probably done filling. Yeah, these are off. Because this is off, this will drain pretty quickly. Because it'll just flow down into here, and then we just won't worry about it. It'll be fine. Although maybe... Don't really have an easy way of doing this. I was gonna say I could try and like seal this off, but it's kind of not worth it. And all these areas where I could like, ooh, I mean, okay, I'd be sneaky. If a dwarf can get there and they can dig that out, it'll open up a hole. Just fill this up with water instantly. Although actually that's kind of like ridiculously dangerous for no reason. I'm not gonna bother. Right back to mining. Damn right. Proper dwarf. Proper dwarf knows what's up. Although this is actually kind of a benefit to me in a way. Because now I can just dig through that. Dig out here. Get walls placed there and there. Be fine. Gives me more space to fill this whole thing in. As much as that was a whoopsie, that wasn't intended. The world combat, it's just a release long series. Oh, no, yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of things in Dwarf Fortress that when you squint at them, it's like, oh yes, this is a placeholder. But like, I think if you start to pick apart the little parts of Dwarf Fortress that in and of themselves aren't that interesting, The grand scope of the game manages to be interesting, which is, I think, the big success of Dwarf Fortress is that, on one hand, yeah, no, I tend to agree. Like, there are a lot of elements of Dwarf Fortress that are underwhelming in a vacuum, but thankfully Dwarf Fortress isn't a vacuum. You know, it is a much bigger thing than that, than the sum of its parts, I guess. And that's what makes it special and what keeps it interesting. I mean, if Dwarf Fortress was just a vacuum, it wouldn't actually be that interesting. That's all. I really like when you, like, in World Gen end up with, like, a legendary donkey that has, like, 1,000 kills for, like, no reason. I do really like that. That stuff's always funny to me. It's like, why does this donkey have 1,000 kills? It's like, well, nobody will ever know. 'Tis a mystery for all eternity. Guess I need to remove that and just make that an upstair. Where'd my other vampire go? I thought I had 2. Oh, you're all the way over here chained up. Well, that checks out. Absolutely, totally. No, I don't disagree with that statement. I think that's a fair thing, but I guess it highly just depends at that point on how much you value quality of life. Because to me, I think the tedium of Dwarf Fortress kind of helps it in some ways. Because when things happen, I think that if Dwarf Fortress was easier to play, this is a shitty take. I think if Dwarf Fortress was easier to play, it would lose some of the magic for me, which is, I think, also why some of the old school players that complain about the loss of ASCII and the keyboard controls and the weird obtuseness has taken away from it. I don't think they're wrong entirely, because I think the imagination and interpretation of the ASCII had an advantage to it. I don't think it's a necessary advantage, but I do think that there is truth to that. I would agree with that statement, Radiant, if the keyboard controls remained. I think that it is still missing something from the old days. And I think that people get, like, mad about it or, like, a bit misguided, but it's certainly better than it was. That's not a, you know, that story is legendary, Sheepherder. That is not an uncommon thing at all. I've absolutely seen elven leaders of Dwarven civs multiple times. The freed from slavery part's kind of cool, though. Yeah, but there are things that in the old UI took like 30 keyboard presses that you didn't even notice because you're going A, B, 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 that like take one click now, so. And a lot of those things that took one key press only took one key press because of DF hack. So that is true to a point, but a lot of the quality of life that people presume Dwarf Fortress has now, or always had, and this was starkly obvious the first week Premium was out because of the negative reviews that Dwarf Fortress got because it didn't have old features, quote unquote, that were DFhack features and never in the original game. Or in older versions of the game, I guess, is the better way to put it. There was kind of a lot of that for a bit. Thankfully, it's like gone away now because DFHack has returned most of those features, but... Oh, you had that happen yesterday. Okay, I thought you were talking about the old school DF story about the elvish queen of the Dwarven Civ or whatever. But that's cool. But that's not to discount the coolness of the story that our friend here discovered, right? Because that is a cool story. Or a fun discovery, if nothing else. Let's just get this body out of here. So I don't think it's accessible currently. I mean, it might be. No, I don't think it is. That'll make it accessible. All right, chat. I've been live for 8 hours and 12 minutes, and I did like 9 hours of video editing yesterday to get that video up. And we'll be live for another 8 hours tomorrow. But I think it's time for me to call it. I talked about this last week. I'm trying to keep the streams around 8 hours total now, which is about 7 hours on YouTube and about 8 hours on Twitch, just for some personal sanity, work-life balance reasons. I've been burnt out on and off basically since I've moved, and I'm trying to get away from that because it puts me in a better mood on stream and makes me more pleasant to be around and makes the streams better.